Buffalo State College Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners. For dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and more, Colvin Cleaners is who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. This is the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for college, high school, and junior hockey. Good evening from Binghamton. The Buffalo State Bengals trying to right the ship tonight on the road. We are at SUNY Broome Ice Center in Binghamton as Buffalo State takes on Binghamton University in upstate New York Collegiate Hockey League action tonight. Hello, I'm Aaron Elpern alongside John Dwyer as we get you ready for Puck Drop with the Ivy Leaf Pharmacy pregame show. And John, the season has started off in less than ideal fashion for the Bengals.
Yeah, 3 straight losses for the Bengals after a season-opening win, a blowout loss on Saturday to the University at Buffalo, 9-1, as the Bulls sweep the regular season series for the first time in 3 years. Revenge for UB after 4 straight Bengal wins, including a Buff State playoff victory to end the Bulls' 2021-22 year.
Yeah, UB definitely had the 2 Bengal games circled on this year's calendar. Meanwhile, Buffalo State played with a short bench in one of the 2 games and then couldn't stay out of the penalty box in the other game. The team's readiness at the start of the season is certainly in question right now, and the schedule really isn't offering the team any breaks. Tonight, it's another team looking for revenge. Binghamton fell to Buff State in last year's UNYCHL semifinals in the playoffs, as the Bengals in that game erased a 4-1 deficit to go on to win 5-4.
However, it was the Bearcats that would go on to have the league's best showing at Nationals. Binghamton won 5 straight at the CHF Fed Cup, making it all the way to the national title game before falling to Babson. Almost all of that roster is back this year as the Bearcats hope for revenge. Playing Buff State and losing in the semifinals, they look to get some vindication. Quote, Jack O'Brien, the captain of the Binghamton team.
Yeah, it's a game that I know that it might have come as a surprise result back in the UNY CHL playoffs as the Binghamton team was playing great hockey going into that. It was a reversal of fortune throughout the course of that game, and obviously Binghamton had that thought in their minds when they went to nationals, and they certainly rebounded from the disappointment in the league playoffs to have obviously the really strong run at nationals. Already this year they have a 1-0 record, a 6-4 win over Niagara right here in this building a week ago. It was a goal and an assist in that game for Thomas McKee, Christopher Simak, and Justin Grew. Bearcats tomorrow have a big divisional game as Cortland is the opponent. They split with the Red Dragons, their Central Division foes in last year's series. Buffalo State, meantime, returns home to face Niagara tomorrow night.
Other games tonight around the league: Niagara at St. John Fisher, Alfred State at Rochester, and Brockport hosts the University of Buffalo. Fredonia heads to Pennsylvania to face Penn State Barron College.
A couple of other games around the CHF we're going to keep an eye on tonight. Georgia and Auburn playing their second half of a two-game set in Athens. Georgia winning last night's game by a score of 4-2. The national champions, Babson, there in their first action of the season. Babson took down Binghamton in the CHF championship game last March, so we'll keep an eye on that game out of Massachusetts. Also, a couple of Empire Conference teams we're going to keep an eye on tonight. Ramapo and Quinnipiac meeting, and Delaware is at Fairfield. So plenty of games around the CHF and UNY CHL to keep an eye on tonight. Should have a good one here from the SUNY Broome Ice Center in Binghamton. It is the host Binghamton University Bearcats and the Buffalo State Bengals in a UNY CHL matchup. And we'll have the opening face-off coming up in just a few moments. And we're about ready to go here from the SUNY Broome Ice Center as it is the host Binghamton Bearcats hosting the Buffalo State Bengals. This is a rematch of a game that we saw last year during the UNYCHL playoffs. It was a 5-4 victory in that contest back in Buffalo back in February. An upset of sorts as it was the Binghamton coming in with the higher rating going into the game. They also built a 4-1 lead in that game, but it was Buff State storming back. John Glasgow scoring the game-winning goal to give Buff State the 5-4 win and help the Bengals advance to the UNYCHL Finals. They would end up falling in that contest to St. Bonaventure, and now we have a chance for these two teams to renew their rivalry here, as Binghamton's certainly going to look to get some revenge for that loss last February. We are underway from the SUNY Broome Ice Center. My name is Aaron Elpern. Thank you for joining us for our broadcast tonight on the Nickel City Hockey Network, along with camera operator and color commentator tonight, John Dwyer. Thank you for joining us for our broadcast from Binghamton. Bengals here in the offensive zone as Michael Guerrero puts pressure on two different Binghamton players. Loose puck comes through the slot. Now Luke Stotz finds control of it here on the left wing. Tries to get that pass out in front, but loses control of it. Now Binghamton's able to move it to the point, but not out of the zone on the first attempt. The second one does get out of the zone, and here comes Justin Franks as a 3-on-1 setting up in the offensive end for Binghamton. Shot taken and an arm save made by A.J. White as Christopher Simak let a hard wrist shot go from the mid-slot. A little bit of confusion there in the neutral zone, and Binghamton able to take advantage of it with a quick scoring opportunity. A.J. White making a nice save to keep this one a 0-0 score here. Not even a minute in yet.
No, Buff State's looking for a rebound win right now. They got to get back from that game that they played recently against UB, and today's where they're going to try to find their gusto.
Into the offensive zone, Crapsey losing control there. That allows Binghamton to find possession and move it back through the neutral zone. Buff State, though, countering, though, and moving it back with Jankowski. Jankowski tries to get around the defenseman, but unable to do so. And now moving back in the other direction is Henderson for the Bearcats. Henderson can't get to the blue line, however. It's kept in by Jankowski as Buff State putting a little bit of pressure on here. Binghamton clears that pressure, and now McKee into the offensive zone. McKee taking a shot there from the left wing. Save with the pad by A.J. White, as he has been tested twice now from fairly close range by the Bearcats. Now an opportunity from right down in front, as finding hold of that rebound was Justin Grew. And right in on goal is 3 shots in quick succession in the last minute or so. Binghamton with a couple of early opportunities in this contest. Loose puck in the Binghamton zone, picked up and moved up the right wing by Henderson. Connects on a pass here in the neutral zone, but Grew unable to get it around Ryan Hahn, and that allows the Bengals to find possession. Moving it up ice into the neutral zone, passes behind Joe Lotempio, who is heading to the bench for a change. And now back in the Bengals zone, Hahn's trying to move it up the near boards. Hahn and Gallivan there trying to battle against two different Binghamton players. Eventually they do get it to the neutral zone, but the Bearcats send it right back in with Cullen. And now Stanishewski has to go back there for it in the far corner. Gets it to Hahn and then quickly up to Gallivan here at the left wing. Gallivan tries to get a pass out into the neutral zone, but a good defensive play there in the offensive end by Sutter, rather, as he put some pressure on and forced a loose puck. Now the Bengals gain possession and now get it up ice. Todorovic, though, gets in the way of a pass there. Puck gets deflected up and out of play. Stoppage with 17:40 to go in period number 1. No score yet from the SUNY Broome Ice Center.
Yeah, so I spoke to Captain Jack O'Brien last night, and he said he believes all 4 lines of his team can play well and skate with other competitive teams in this division.
Certainly a team that their hallmark last year was their depth in terms of their forward group especially. We saw that both through the regular season and at the Fed Cup. They have scoring from all places when it comes to this lineup. Puck in the Binghamton zone now. This is Moroxa trying to move it out. He stops in behind the net, now looking for a pass here on the near side. Floats it across, and now moving it up ice. Hugh White's pass goes too far for its intended target, but no icing on this play as Stanishewski and Sutter go back for it. Sutter finding control only briefly, then knocked off of his stick. Ryan Hahn with it here in the corner. Up to Gallivan. He's got 2 men on him quickly. Bengals with a little bit of difficulty getting it out on this near side. Stotz coming over to help out a little bit, but it is kept in deep in the offensive zone by Foster, as he now has the puck here in the near corner. Foster losing control of it as Stotz takes it off of his stick, but Foster again counters and circles back and takes it right off of Stotz, but the Bengals finally get it out of the zone, and now Gallivan floats a backhand softly in on Bloodgood. Bloodgood throws the catching glove over top of it, holds on for a whistle, and we have a stoppage in play. As 16:38 now remaining here in period number 1. No score yet for Binghamton and Buffalo State.
We haven't seen much of an offensive drive yet for both of these teams. A lot of neutral zone turnovers, but hopefully Buff State or Binghamton will see some offensive power so far.
I think you're going to see a little bit of a different approach from this Buffalo State team tonight. It's usually a team that likes to get up ice and push the pace in terms of offense. I feel with a little bit of a shorter bench here in this game this evening and the potent Binghamton attack, you might see a little bit more of a defensive look from this from the team in black and orange tonight. We'll have to keep an eye on how they tend to play in the neutral zone especially. All 5 players in good defensive position here for the Bengals as Binghamton breaks some of the neutral zone pressure and dumps it in. One-on-one battle for a loose puck, and it's going to be Foster finding it for Binghamton. Cycles it down low and finds a teammate. Puck then comes back to the point. Clares lets a shot go from distance. It was up in the air just a little bit. It would have missed the net, but A.J. White slides out of the crease and makes the glove save, holds on for a whistle. Still no score yet. 16:01 remaining in the first period as Binghamton and Buffalo State renewing their rivalry here from the SUNY Broome Ice Center.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Buff State played a little bit of lockdown defense before trying to go for that offensive zone possession, but we'll see how this game goes.
This might be one of those games where if they start getting players caught deep in the offensive zone, it could pose some real difficulties back in their own defensive end. It's maybe been a bit of a difficulty this year with maybe being a little bit too far up ice, sometimes in transition. See whether or not the lockdown defense is something that is a hallmark of the Bengals tonight. They kind of stack it up in front of the net there defensively. A.J. White making a save on a shot coming from the top of the circle. Hangs on for another whistle. 15:38 now to go in the first period. Offensive zone draw coming up here for Binghamton. Wins it back to Rowell. Rowell then cycles it down low, and Binghamton setting up possession here in the near corner. Frank's in behind the net. Simak then tries to get it out to Rowell, but a good play defensively by Ryan Hahn. Now he carries it up the left wing. Hahn gains the blue line, tries to shoot it in on goal. That one misses just wide. Pernetta keeps it moving there in the offensive zone and gets it down low to Jankowski. Jankowski knocked down on the play, and that allows the puck to be moved up ice by O'Brien. 2-on-2 into the offensive zone. Here come the Bearcats. Shot then taken from Simak just at the high slot area. Missed high and wide and off the glass. Comes out to Jankowski. Bengals might have some numbers here in the neutral zone. Change, though, needed as all 3 forwards head to the bench. Bengals now just putting on some light pressure, giving Binghamton plenty of room to move it up into the neutral zone. This is Hugh White carrying it through center ice. Gains the offensive zone and takes a shot from distance. Pad saved by A.J. White. Luke Stotz makes sure it gets out of the zone and then into center ice, but a good play by Maroxa to get in his way, send it right back into Bengal territory. Ryan Hahn in the far corner looking to start it up ice, gets it to Guerrera. Guerrera's got a man right in his hip pocket, and Rowell forces a turnover, now has control here on the near side. Drops that pass back to McKendry, his shot missing the net wide, but Binghamton keeps it going here in the offensive end. Pass comes from behind the net. McKendry right there in the high slot. Had a man on him, though, and he couldn't quite get a shot away as the puck comes right back into center ice. Binghamton sending it right back in, though. 14:10 left to go in first period play as Buff State clears the zone, makes sure that they don't have to play any more defense in that offensive thrust. Binghamton getting a defensive change here on the back end as the puck comes up the near side to Gallivan for the Bengals. Gallivan finding possession and poking it along with one hand up the far side. Ryan Hahn now gets to it and gets it back to Gallivan. Could be a 3-on-2 for the Bengals into the offensive zone. Gallivan tries to drop it back for Guerrera. That pass doesn't quite connect. Now the Bengals are going to have to be quick to get back defensively. 3-on-2 as it's Clares carrying it in. Tries to go cross ice with that pass, but a good quick stick there. Cole Newman getting in that passing lane, deflecting that one up and out of play. 13:34 now left to go in the first. Still a 0-0 game from the SUNY Broome Ice Center.
For an already depleted Buff State roster, it looks like they're going to be playing a couple long shifts here in today's game.
Going to test the stamina early on in the season for this Buff State group as just a game similar to what we saw a couple weeks ago rather, when there were 5 or 6 regulars out of the lineup. Again, this is a lineup that is missing 4 or 5 of the players that are usually relied on here for the Bengals. So the strategy will look a little bit different, and the way that this team has to play will probably be a little bit different because of it. Could be a break here for the Bengals into the offensive zone. It's a shot from distance. That one looked like Bloodgood was a little bit off his angle. It almost snuck in that far post as Janikowski was just kind of dumping it in on goal. Back in the other direction, this is Grew here against the near wall. Gets that pass out in front. He's got a man on the doorstep. Nice move, and then McKee got that backhand shot in on White. Didn't look like he had a whole lot of room to do anything there, but he still managed to get a good shot in on goal.
Another thing Buff State has to work on is their clearing attempts. We've seen them fan on a little too many shots, a little too many clearing attempts. So That's going to be a test today.
That play right there, that's fine. If it ends up in the bench, that counts as a clear. You get a whistle. You get a moment to slow things down. If you're playing with that little bit of a shorter bench, whistles are not a bad thing. Lotempio on for this draw for Buff State. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's going to be Jax Todorovic. Scrambled draw, and it comes back to the Buff State defenseman, Dene. Dene on the backhand, trying to get it up the boards to Crapsey, and kind of a jam there for the loose puck as two players from each side try to find possession. Back into the far corner, Dene getting some help from Lotempio as both of them now down below the goal line. Eventually up the right wing to Crapsey, makes sure it gets out of the zone. Binghamton then sending it right back in. 12:30 to go in the first period as Cole Newman sends a pass up the near boards. Jankowski on his backhand gets it up to Lotempio, but they're unable to get it out of the zone as a good play there at the point by Henderson. Pass comes out in front of the net. Just unable to handle that one was Cullen. And Binghamton keeps it going here in the offensive zone as it comes back to the point, and Henderson keeps it in the zone. Backhand pass down low and a shot taken from a tough angle. That was Sutter letting that one go. Fairly easy save for A.J. White. Hangs on with the glove hand. And another draw coming up in the Bengals zone. 12:08 now left here in the first period. Still no score yet, as we predicted the Bengals would play a little bit of a defensive type of shell, and that seems to be what they are employing here in the first 8 minutes of the action.
I was just going to say that this will be a great game for them to practice their defensive ability, and as we see them now on the offensive.
Oh, the counter-punch opportunity. It's Gallivan and Guerrera setting each other up there in the offensive zone. It wasn't the cleanest of zone entries, but the pass across was right on the money, and Guerrera puts it up under the bar. The Bengals take the early 1-0 lead. We were talking about them looking to play a little bit more of a defensive type of game here. It helps when you can play with a little bit of a lead as well.
That's what they're going to look for, those offensive zone rush, and they got to take advantage of every single one of them. Hope it's served on a silver platter.
That's the concept here is when you play in that more of a defensive look, you make sure you protect your goaltender. You think defense first and protect your own zone.
Correct.
And then when you get the opportunities, jump up into the play and try to take them. It's exactly what happened there. Michael Guerrera picking up the goal, giving the Bengals a 1-0 lead here, not even 10 minutes in.
Now this is going to be the real test for Buff State. These Binghamton guys, they're going to be mad. They want some redemption already.
Yeah, vengeance was the watchword for Binghamton coming into this one. Now down 1-0 early. Another opportunity for the Bengals on the doorstep. That shot taken there by Caden Mendick on the backhand. Save was made, but another opportunity in close as the Bengals driving some offensive pace here and picking up a little bit of the early momentum, getting that early goal in transition and now trying to add to it.
Key to the game, momentum. That's what Buff State has to play with today. And when Binghamton gets theirs, that's when they're going to have to go on defensive. Oh.
Binghamton finding control of the loose puck off the draw, and they move it through the neutral zone, but Ryan Hahn getting in the way, stopping that rush at the blue line. Countered, though, as Simak tries to get it back across the blue line. Now the teams trade possession below our broadcast position. Caden Mendick carries it in 1-on-3. Battles against one man, eventually losing control of it. Settled down and moved up ice by Justin Franks. Franks into the offensive zone, gets wide on the Bengals defenseman, then feeds a pass back into the slot. A beautiful setup there, but just fanning on that one was Owen Roll. A perfect opportunity as two really crisp passes in front, and he had it right on his tape. It might have surprised him, if anything, because it just kind of ended up handcuffing him there. He was unable to get that shot away. A little bit of a beneficial moment there from the Buff State perspective, as that was a glorious opportunity that just went by the wayside there for Binghamton.
Yeah, A.J. White had a great stick on that, great poke check to get that from being another rebound opportunity.
A little bit of contact there in the far corner as it comes back to the point. Bengals keeping it at the blue line, actually unable to do so, and they have to clear the zone now. Now back into their own, into the defensive zone. The Bengals now setting up as Simak has it in the corner. Drop pass attempted to Franks, but it's going to be Mendick taking that one away and looking to move it up ice. That pass, though, is intercepted. Now the Bengals are going to have to set back up for some defense. It comes quickly out in front. And quick glove save made by A.J. White as he read that play nicely, makes the save, and hangs on for a whistle. Good to see number one A.J. White on top of his game here in the early going tonight.
Yeah, we're hoping to see that glove hand on fire tonight. That was a quick shot, quick save.
Crapsey and McKee on for this draw. Crapsey winning the draw, and it comes out to the Binghamton blue line, and it bounces over the defenseman's stick. So an opportunity for the Bengals to put some pressure on here in the neutral zone. However, quickly countering, McKee's shot caught A.J. White a little bit off guard, but he makes the save. A rebound in an awkward spot, eventually cleared out of danger. Then an opportunity from in tight and a great glove save. A.J. White flashing the leather there and robbing Binghamton of a glorious opportunity at the doorstep. That's 3 or 4 really nice saves already here in the early going for A.J. White.
I expect Binghamton to go left blocker side at this point. His glove has been on fire so far.
Face off again to the glove hand side for A.J. White coming up. Binghamton winning the draw. Back to the point to Max Clares. Gets it to McKendry and then across again. Shot then from distance is blocked on its way through. Bengals doing a good job of getting into that passing, into that shooting lane. Puck in behind the Bengals net as Ryan Hahn battles against 2 different Binghamton players. 2 Bengals slide over to offer some assistance here. A couple of players directing traffic to make sure that Buff State is still in good defensive position as Migliorato moves it in from the point. Puck then along the goal line now as both teams scramble for possession of the puck in the player's skates. Eventually McKee finds it. Now trying a backhand wrap around. It comes right through the crease. And now Crapsey picks it up and moves it out in center ice. Softly enough to get it into Binghamton territory. Now the Bengals can put on a little bit of light pressure here in the Binghamton end. Puck comes out into the neutral zone. Bengals forcing a turnover and gaining possession here at center ice. Ryan Hahn has it, and he gets it up ice to Stoats and then in across the blue line. Nice play there by the defenseman O'Brien to halt that charge up ice. Now O'Brien moves it back up ice where he finds McKee. McKee in the near corner. He's on Staniszewski. The two of them try to battle for that loose puck. Second Binghamton player close by trying to offer some support. McKee gets that puck out in front, but A.J. White sends it right back behind the net. And now Guerrera gets it through the neutral zone and chips it into the offensive end. Gallivan with one hand with a shot towards the net and handled there by the glove of the netminder. Holds on for a whistle. 8:51 now remaining here in the first period of play. It's a 1-0 Buffalo State lead as they now get an offensive zone draw here coming up. Face-off is won here for the Bengals in a battle along the near wall as Binghamton tries to get it out of the zone, and they do so. They have numbers now into the offensive zone. Puck comes across. Sliding play by Gallivan, or Guerrera rather, coming back on that play. Might have denied that pass across. It comes out in front eventually, though, and a nice opportunity from in tight. Todorovic shot in on goal. A.J. White making that stop. The net comes off in the process. And a little bit of a flurry of activity there in the Bengals zone, but A.J. White standing up to the challenge, making sure his team stays out in front by a 1-0 score.
When I was expecting this game to be full defense, I was not expecting to be full A.J. White so far. He's been playing just a great game, and we are 12 minutes in, and he's already made a couple unbelievable saves.
So the draw is to the blocker hand side of A.J. White. Binghamton winning that faceoff, and a shot coming in from distance gets deflected wide. But they find possession here again in the near corner, in behind the net to Cullen. Cullen tries to get it out in front. He's got a man there, and a hard shot taken by Sutter, but that one goes wide of the net. Now in behind the net, a penalty coming up here as the referee here in the near corner has his arm up, signaling an interference penalty. So this looks like it's going to be a chance on the power play for Binghamton. That would be my assessment of things, as it looks like it's number 67, Luke Stoats, headed into the penalty box. Well, this was certainly something that victimized Buffalo State in their last game, a road game at UB last Saturday. There was a period of time in the first period where there were a series of penalties taken by the Bengals, and 4 different power play goals were scored against them by UB, blowing that game wide open. It's certainly something that I know Buff State doesn't want to continue here tonight, giving Binghamton the same kind of chances on the power play. Yeah,
Buff State just wants to stay out of the box in this one.
It's going to be a hard enough effort against a very talented team when you're not at the full strength of your roster. Makes it that much harder if you are in the penalty box and playing 5-on-4.
Yeah.
A little bit of help, though, coming here from Binghamton. It looks like maybe a goal crease violation.
I'm not
player in the
sure
crease.
About that
I mean, there was the neutral zone referee that blew the play dead. So not exactly sure what the call is, but it goes in the Bengals' benefit as they get the neutral zone draw. But Binghamton getting control of it and getting it into the offensive end pretty quickly. Justin Franks with it behind the net. Back to the point to Simak, and now across to Clares. Clares then down low as the pass attempt is there. It just comes right out in front of the net. A maze of skates that puck was in there. Eventually, A.J. White managed to find it through that maze of skates and throw the glove hand on top of it. It took a moment for the referee to realize that he, in fact, had it covered. eventually gets the whistle and a stoppage in play. 1:29 now remaining in the power play here for Binghamton. 7:44 left in the period.
One thing I've noticed so far is these guys play with speed. Jack O'Brien, captain, he was not wrong. All 4 lines have a lot of speed, and they can play fast.
And they play quickly in terms of how they move the puck.
Yeah.
This power play showing off that quick one-touch passing and moving it quickly around the perimeter and in and out. Bengals, though, doing a good job of taking a player off of the puck. Ryan Hahn making a good play there in the shorthanded situation to create a loose puck and send it the length of the ice. 1:03 remaining in the penalty to Stotz. Through the neutral zone, this is Christopher Simak. Gains the blue line, now makes a nice move to get himself free, then in towards the net. Great save by A.J. White as he got the stick along the goal line and by inches kept that one out. A nice charge up ice as Simak, the leading scorer from Binghamton last year, looked to add to his totals this year. A great save by A.J. White's the only thing that kept this one a 1-0 game.
A great save and some great handling skills right there. He went around the Buff State defense like it was nothing.
But in the end, the most important penalty killer, the goaltender, keeps it out of the net, and it stays a 1-0 lead. But the power play here continues here for Binghamton. Pass across to the captain O'Brien. From the midpoint, he slides it along to the left side. Now a shot taken by McKee. That one hits A.J. White in the pads and goes wide. Now McKee sets it up again. Him and O'Brien switch positions on the far side with 30 seconds remaining on the power play. Todorovic on the far wall, back to the point. And now this is McKee at the midpoint, gets it across to O'Brien, now down low, shot taken from there as McHenry tried to get that one in on goal, but it was blocked on its way through. Now back to the point and settled down there. 14 seconds now remaining on the power play. Cross ice pass to McHenry here on the near boards, tries to get it back to the point. Crapsey getting in the way of that one. 5 seconds to go in the power play. Time for one last shot here maybe for Binghamton. Good play defensively as Crapsey and Newman combine to get that one out of the zone. Send it the length of the ice, and the Bengals have killed off the full power play. Even though there was a fair amount of time spent in the defensive zone, they managed to keep Binghamton off the scoreboard and still maintain a 1-0 lead with 6 minutes to go in the first.
Yeah, in regards to last game, that's a win in its own for Buff State.
Todorovic tries to get it around Cole Newman, but a nice play at the Buff State blue line. Newman stepping up and making a good play. Has to go back behind his own net now to start the breakout. Make sure the puck. Binghamton's going to have to tag up here. That gives a couple of moments for Dene to look for a breakout pass. Stops him behind the net. He's got Grew on him. Could use a little bit of assistance, and there comes Luke Stotz to offer it. Now an opportunity to get it up ice. Just unable to handle that one was Gallivan in the neutral zone. Now he's putting some pressure on the Binghamton defenseman. Hugh White looking to move that one up ice. Gets a pass into the neutral zone. And now this is going to be an opportunity to set up some offensive zone time as Sam Hamlet has it on the far side. Puck on that far board as LeChance tries to create some offensive zone pressure. LeChance up against that far boards. Slides it along to Stappenbeck. Now back to the point. Shot taken right through traffic. Save made by the pad of A.J. White. And now back to the point as it's slid down low by Henderson. Ends up going up and out of play. Deflected on its way there. And we have a stoppage with just under 5 minutes to go. As you're enjoying Buffalo State College Club hockey on the Nickel City Hockey Network. And our coverage is brought to you by Ivy Lee Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. And by Pool Mart, your family fun store. Binghamton keeps the offensive pressure going here on the near wall. 2 players from each side battling for possession. Comes out to Gallivan, and he feeds it around behind the net to start the breakout for the Bengals. Hahn then tries to get it back to Gallivan, then ends up hitting his own teammate in front. Now maybe a chance in tight. Bouncing puck there, eventually swatted towards the net by Dylan LeChance. Kind of a floating shot in towards A.J. White, and he manages to make a fairly routine save.
Yeah.
Looks like
number
one, though, is pretty locked in. Those ones might be the ones that are the toughest to follow because
Exactly.
they're not hard, crisp shots as you would expect. They kind of float and come in as a changeup. He had that one tracked the entire way.
Those type of shots remind me of when position players go out into the baseball diamond and throw 65 and tend to strike out professional MLB players. So when the shot is as soft as that, you might get worried because they're not used to that.
No icing on this play as icing waved off by the linesman. Bengals now looking to move it out of the zone there on the far side. Good battle for that loose puck by Crapsey, making sure it gets into the neutral zone at the very least. Now he's putting some pressure on here in the offensive end with about 4 minutes to go in the period. Bengals with that light pressure we've been talking about in the offensive zone, trying to create some neutral zone pressure and create turnovers. They do so there. Shot in on goal from distance by Cole Newman. Now he heads off for a change as Binghamton looks to start the breakout on the far side with Simak. Good play by Joe Lotempio to get into a passing lane there and making the Binghamton team do a little bit of extra work to get the puck out of their zone. End up sending it into the neutral zone where the Bengals create a turnover and look to head up ice themselves. Lotempio up to Jankowski, but a little bit too far for him. And now Binghamton looks to counter with Owen Roll. Roll splits the defense, but a good play there late as Ryan Hahn left his feet to make sure he took that puck off the Binghamton player's stick. There was still a moment there where it looked like there was a wide open opportunity from in tight with a bit of an empty net to shoot at. Eventually, though, A.J. White covers that one up, hangs on for a whistle, and it stays a 1-0 game.
Yeah, so far I love what I'm seeing from Buff State. They're playing with purpose, even with this short-staffed roster. They're playing like they have 4 lines right now.
I think the concept is really to make sure that every shift out there, your goal is to limit the chances in your own zone and protect your goaltender as much as possible. When you look at the whole ice from a defensive standpoint, it makes the playing defense that much easier. Bengals find possession as Guerrero tries to get it out on the near side, ends up being shot right in on goal quickly there as it was Sutter letting that shot go from a weird angle. Now Sutter has it along the goal line here at the near post. Shot goes right through the crease, now out to the far side where Stotz and Guerrero try to find possession. Guerrero settles it down, looks to move it up ice, finds Gallivan in the neutral zone. Gallivan tries to go around Clares, but really good defense there in the neutral zone as number 4 carried that one up ice and looked to create some offense for himself. 2:30 now remaining in the first period. It's still a 1-0 Buffalo State lead. Shot comes in from the left boards. There was a little bit of traffic in front. I'm not sure if there was a deflection before it got to A.J. White, but he makes the pad save, then sees a rebound sitting out in front of him, covers it up, holds on for a whistle, and now 2:24 remains here in this first period.
What I want to see from Buff State right now is to pretend like this is the third period. Lock it down. There's 2:24 left. Go into the first intermission with a lead.
They managed to clear the zone here. No icing on this call as it was ruled the Binghamton defenseman had a play on it at the far point. So it allows Buff State to maybe set up some offensive zone time, but they can't keep it in on the far side with Lotempio. And numbers countering in the opposite direction for Binghamton, but a nice stick there as laying the left shoulder into his man was Ryan Dene. Moved up ice, but too far for Hager. Now a loose puck at center ice is picked up by Mendick. He fires that backhand in towards the offensive end as Lotempio looks to put on some pressure. Binghamton clearing that and sending it back into Buff State territory. Dene goes back into the far corner to pick it up. Cross to Cole Newman, but too far for him. Binghamton tries to get something set up in front of the net quickly, but that pass was too far for McKee. Shot then comes from the left point as Hugh White lets a wrist shot go. Goes up and out of play. We'll see if they rule it was deflected or not and where the faceoff is going to be coming up here. I know the Buff State bench is trying to lobby for a faceoff in the neutral zone, saying that there was no deflection and no reason why it went out of play other than the Binghamton shot. I don't think they're going to get their way on this one, as it looks like that faceoff will be to the glove hand side of A.J. White. Bengals win the faceoff. Stanishewski now moving it up ice. As a big hit in the neutral zone, there's going to be a penalty called on that as the puck was already past Mark Hager, and the Binghamton defenseman threw a hard shoulder into him. So with a minute 30 now in the first period, the Bengals will get their first chance in the power play.
I see no reason for that penalty. You don't need that with a minute 30 left. So this is a good opportunity for Buff State. Take advantage of that unnecessary penalty, and maybe you can get into this one with a 2-0 lead going into the first intermission.
So a minute 30 left in the period, so almost the full rest of the period. It will be the full rest of the period on the power play if the Bengals are unable to put one across the goal line. And at least here from the outset, they can't keep the puck here in the near boards. They will have to go 200 feet before they set it up again in the offensive zone. Gallivan picking it up from Ryan Hahn behind the net. Now Gallivan comes up the left side with speed. Two different Binghamton players converge on him there in the neutral zone, and he just dumps it in. Now the Bengals are going to get a chance to set up their power play. Ryan Hahn at the far side just settles that puck down and walks the blue line. Gets it across to Guerrero, and now back to Hahn. Hahn looking for a shooting lane, shoots it through traffic. Looked like that one hit a foot and then went just wide. Now there's a chance for a breakaway shorthanded. Simak in alone for Binghamton to the backhand. 5-hole, he scores. Binghamton taking advantage of an opportunity there shorthanded. Buff State sloppy along the blue line, not really paying attention to the defensive side of the ice like we've been talking about them throughout this game. In that case, one man gets behind both Bengals defensemen and has the entire neutral zone and the entire Buff State zone to walk in. And Christopher Simak, the leading scorer for the Binghamton Bearcats last year, he had 20 goals and 20 assists on last year's campaign. He's already got a goal and an assist in the first game this year, and he's got the Binghamton first goal here this evening, making it a 1-1 game.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that if you're A.J. White. It's a one-man breakaway. It's a silver platter goal, as I've said before. You just can't have that sloppy play by Buff State.
Yeah, really the problem was not the play in the defensive zone. It was a great move and a great finish there by the Binghamton player. The problem was the carelessness with the puck in the offensive zone. And again, it comes back to burn them here as Justin Franks is fed a puck right on the silver platter in the slot, fires it high glove, and now it is 2-1 Binghamton. They has taken advantage of a couple of sloppy plays as the Bengals were the ones with the power play here. But it is the team short a man that is taking advantage and making it their own kind of power play. It's a power kill, as it were.
I'll refer to what I said earlier. You have to pretend like this is the third period. You can't have 2 goals scored in the final minute. So Buff State's got to do something about that in the second period if they're going to continue if they get a lead at all.
Could be an opportunity in tight for the Bengals. Wow, Stokes got that pass out in front. Ryan Hahn just unable to put that one past the netminder as the Bengals almost with a chance to answer. But that is the one last shot attempt there as Stokes can't get it through traffic. And it looked like the Bengals were going to enjoy a lead heading into the locker room after one period of play. They had a minute and a half on the power play to finish off the period, but Binghamton shocks them by scoring twice shorthanded, and it's the Bearcats that go to the locker room with the 2-1 lead.
Yeah. I thought Buff State was going to get one of those free goals just now. It just couldn't finish there in the crease.
So 2 shorthanded goals. Christopher Simak getting the first one, and then Justin Franks the second opportunity there shorthanded. And now it's going to be Binghamton with the 2-1 lead heading to the first intermission. And support for Buffalo State College Club hockey comes from Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. To buy, sell, or lease any office, industrial, retail, or investment property, trust the unparalleled knowledge and experience of Militello Realty. 856-2872 or militello.com. Also, support comes from Ivy Lee Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. Ivy Lee can cover your immunization needs from flu shots to the newest COVID vaccine, also CBD products, home health care, and all your pharmacy needs. Ivy Lee Pharmacy, 2446 Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore, or ivyleepharmacy.com. Support also comes from Pool Mart, your family fun store. Whether you're looking for a pool, hot tub, patio furniture, supplies, or more, Pool Mart has 5 locations across Western New York and Northern Pennsylvania to meet your specific need. Find them online at poolmartonline.com. Supporters also include Colvin Cleaners, dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and all garment services. Colvin Cleaners, the region's premier green earth dry cleaner. And it's also where the Buffalo State College Club hockey team goes to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. ColvinCleaners.com or visit them on Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore. And our supporters include Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club hockey. They are online, enviousgameware.com. And by 412 Communications, the new gold standard for digital media solutions for small businesses. 412 Communications offers consultation for web and graphic design, social media, writing and editing services, multimedia solutions, and more. Visit 412communications.com to learn more about how they can help your brand build bridges with the people you serve. You're watching the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new home for amateur hockey. We're going to step away here for the first intermission, but we'll be back with period number 2 in about 10 minutes. Buffalo State College Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners. For dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and more, Colvin Cleaners is who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. This is the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for college, high school, and junior hockey. And welcome back to the SUNY Broome Ice Center in Binghamton, New York, as we are getting set for second period play between the Buffalo State Bengals and the Binghamton University Bearcats. It is a 2-1 lead for Binghamton as we get second play underway here on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Good evening, I'm Aaron Elpern alongside John Dwyer as we bring you live coverage of Buffalo State and Binghamton. 20 seconds remaining on a Buff State power play here as we start second period play. Power play hasn't gone the Bengals' way thus far as two shorthanded goals against. Now it looks like a shorthanded opportunity for Roll on the breakaway to the backhand. Two opportunities, A.J. White making both saves, but there's going to be a penalty coming up here on the play as a tripping call is being signaled by the front official. So this power play has been about as bad as it could possibly be for the Bengals. They give up two goals in the first part of it in the first period, and now with the remaining part of the power play in the second period, they take a penalty of their own and give up a breakaway opportunity, two point-blank opportunities in close succession there for Raul. And A.J. White doing a good job of keeping Binghamton off the board there, keeping this one a 2-1 game. But now Binghamton's going to get a chance on the power play almost the full 2 minutes here as their penalty expires, and now they set up with the man advantage. Puck on the far side, Migliorato settles it down and now looks to get it across to his defensive partner. Ends up going too far for Simak, and now he has to chase it back into the neutral zone. 1:35 to go in the Binghamton power play. Simak up the right wing, cuts in towards the slot. Now in the backhand, just losing control of it late. Nice stick handling moves there in tight. Almost has an opportunity from the doorstep as he brings it out from behind the net. Takes a couple of hacks at the loose puck in the feet of A.J. White. Ends up getting a shot from a couple different Bengals players for his troubles there. And we get a stoppage in play a minute into the period. 1:28 now remaining on this Bengal penalty.
Yeah, so this game has not been very much physical. After those two quick goals in the final first minutes of that first period, I expect Buff State to come out a little more rough.
Binghamton winning that face-off and getting a shot attempt right in on goal. That was O'Brien letting that one go from distance, and a nice glove save by A.J. White. Todorovic now setting it up down low, but his pass goes right through the slot and ends up going into center ice, where it's McKendry setting it up. Pass into the neutral zone, and now across the blue line comes Justin Grew. Grew on his backhand as he circles away from the corner and now gets a pass back to the point, but a loose puck then created by Gallivan. Maybe some numbers here for the Bengals as Gallivan carries it over the blue line. Gallivan and Lotempio into the offensive zone as Gallivan takes a backhand that misses the net wide. Lotempio trying to find control of it to kill off more time here on this penalty, but Binghamton breaks that pressure, and moving it up ice now is Jack O'Brien. Good defensive play, though, as Cole Newman finds that loose puck and gets it away from him. Now this could be an opportunity. Gallivan in transition with a half a step on the defenseman. Rebound chance there sitting for Stotts. Just fanned on that one, sitting right in the crease as two good opportunities from in close there for the Bengals.
Oh, you just hate to see that right there.
Another 23 seconds now remaining here in this power play for Binghamton as McKee takes a hard wrist shot there from right about the faceoff dot. Good arm save made by A.J. White as Binghamton is creating some opportunities here with this man advantage. Still 10 seconds left on that power play as Todorovic has it on the far wall. Drops it off for McKee. McKee then circles towards the slot. Backhand pass down low. Todorovic with that wraparound attempt. A.J. White getting that pad across quickly, though, and getting that stop. Bengals now back to full strength. They might have a 3-on-1 here if they're quick. Gallivan into the offensive zone. He's got Newman and Guerrero with him, but that shot is deflected on its way through and ends up missing the net high. Back into the neutral zone. Pass is intercepted by Justin Grew, and he brings it back into the offensive zone. Pass right out in front. Opportunity there from the doorstep. Nice save by A.J. White, as two different Binghamton players were in tight there. Guerrera back in the opposite direction. Tries to take a shot through a screen, but Hugh White doing a good job of getting in the way, getting enough of a deflection to send that one up and out of play. 3 minutes into period number 2. It is still a 2-1 lead in favor of the Binghamton Bearcats.
Now, I know we said we'd like to see Buff State take their offensive zone chances, but now they need to set up the puck. They need to set each other up. They're just rushing right in there. At least they're not dumping and chasing, but set each other up behind the goal line, play the blue line, and hopefully they come out with a goal. And
Bengals seem to be executing their strategy in this game in the first part of it. Certainly when the game was 5-on-5 in the first period, it seemed to be going according to script for the team in orange and black. When the power play started to happen, then it started to get a little bit off script, and we'll see whether or not they can get their legs under them and then get back to the game plan here for tonight. Big hit here on the near wall as a Binghamton player threw the shoulder into Nick Crapsey along the near boards. Ends up resulting in a penalty as the back referee signals the roughing penalty. So the Bengals now will get the chance on the power play yet again. This wasn't exactly to their benefit the last time it happened. As mentioned, Binghamton scoring twice shorthanded late in the first period, and that's how they have this 2-1 lead. See whether or not a little bit more care is taken along the blue line in the offensive zone with the Bengals power play setup.
Maybe head coach Tim Turner had some words of wisdom for them, and maybe they'll turn out a few goals for themselves on this power play.
Well, it's a team that likes to play offensively and aggressive hockey in that way, even though it's a little bit different strategy here tonight. Oh, there's an opportunity almost with that shot coming off the backboards right to Joe Lotempio. His shot just hitting the outside of the post. Binghamton almost with a chance there in transition again, as Buffalo State's going to have to be a little bit careful along the blue line in the offensive zone when they have these power play chances. Binghamton has been looking to push the pace offensively themselves, even when they've been down a man in this game. Bengals now get it up ice, and Joe Lotempio dumps it here into the near corner, then chases it himself. Migliorato stops at the near boards and makes a good play to get away from two different Buff State players, then send it the length of the ice to kill off more time on the man advantage. Minute 15 now remaining in the Binghamton penalty, as it's Gallivan being harassed in behind his own net as he tries to start it up ice. Eventually just lays a pass off to Ryan Hahn, and now Hahn gets it back to Gallivan in the neutral zone. Bank pass off the boards, and now Guerrera has it. Bengals gaining the offensive zone as they try to get a shot in on goal, but that one misses just wide. Now a foot race for a loose puck here against the near boards. Binghamton player winning the race to that one and getting that puck sent the length of the ice. Nice play there by Hayden Sutter, making sure that one got cleared the length of the ice. He heads to the bench for a change, as Binghamton now has 42 seconds of a penalty to kill off. Stoats through the neutral zone, floats a dump into that cross corner where Crapsey finds it. Tries to keep possession of it, but it ends up being cleared out of the zone where Guerrera picks it up and looks to bring it back. In the skates of Nick Crapsey, and he can't find possession. Another opportunity to send it right back into the offensive zone for Binghamton, and they've killed off minute 40 here of this power play. Crapsey picking it up now and looking to get it up ice. That pass is intercepted. O'Brien stepping into that lane, now walking in, letting a shot go, just barely missing that far post. Nice play to jump up into the play by the defenseman, Jack O'Brien. Caden Mendick now into the offensive zone, tried to get a pass across to Jankowski, but he ended up fanning on his shot, couldn't get it through the screen that was there. Mendick, though, finding a loose puck in behind the goal line as he battles with the Binghamton defenseman for possession. Binghamton penalty expiring. They are back to full strength as they try to clear it on the far side. Good play, though, by Cole Newman to maintain the zone. Puck is then flipped up into the rafters, as Sebastian Henderson couldn't keep that one low enough to avoid some of the lights that are hanging from the ceiling here. So we'll have a stoppage in play with 14-14 to go in period number 2. Still a 2-1 lead in favor of the Binghamton Bearcats. Faceoff's going to be on the far side there to the right of Bloodgood, and it appears to be Captain Lotempio on for the draw for Buff State. Simak on for the draw for Binghamton. Binghamton winning it cleanly and getting it up ice quickly. This is Owen Roll into the offensive zone, stops in the circle, then tries to get a pass back into the slot, ends up chasing it down himself. Bouncing puck, though, can't maintain possession. Now Joe Lotempio putting some pressure on it. Lotempio chasing Roll around the net as Roll starts up that far wall. Backhand pass into the neutral zone, intercepted, and then intercepted right back again as Roll drives in towards that offensive end. Tries to get that pass back to Justin Franks. Can't quite find him, but Franks eventually gets possession of it. His pass ends up hitting a skate. Now a scramble for a loose puck in behind the net. Cole Newman finding it and getting it to the blue line and eventually out. Gallivan finding it just inside the Binghamton blue line. Just sends a soft backhand into the far corner where Stotz looks to put some pressure on the defenseman. Unable to put a whole lot of pressure on him, though, and now Simak has a lane to carry it through the neutral zone. Simak across the blue line takes a shot that misses wide and high off the glass, and now a loose puck in that far corner. Joe Lotempio trying to circle it around behind the net, but his rim attempt hits a skate. Dene then only gets it as far as the blue line. Hugh White's shot in on goal. Pad save made by A.J. White as the Binghamton Bearcats continue to test White, but they continue to keep the shots from the perimeter. I know that that has been the Buff State focus, is as many shots as possible at the perimeter as they can. Once the shots come in from in tight, those are those types of high danger chances that they're really trying to limit.
Yeah, they got to keep enforcing that zone and pounding the box with those shots.
Another defensive zone draw here as we see the line of Lotempio, Jankowski, and Stotz out there for this draw. It's going to be McKee on the draw for Binghamton. McKee winning that draw cleanly. Now back to the point. Shot there through traffic. Hits a body and goes wide. But Binghamton maintaining possession as McKee has it in the corner. Back to the point. Now cross ice. Hugh White has it at the left point. Good block there by Ryan Hahn getting in the way of that one. Bengals just send that one out of the zone. This one's going to be far enough for icing. Not the worst play in the world there for the Bengals as they've had a little bit of time there in the defensive zone. It just didn't take that soft enough bounce in the neutral zone, so it ends up going as an icing. I'll have to defend here a little bit more in the defensive zone. Far side face-off in the Bengals end to the glove hand side of A.J. White. 12:40 now remaining in the second period. It's a 2-1 score, all the scoring coming in period number one.
Even though they can't make that change, that little break is much needed.
And it wasn't like they were skating for a long time before that. It was only about 10 seconds of game action before the icing, so it ends up being a little bit of an extended break. Now we see what they can do with a little bit of energy as Stotz carries it in over the blue line. Great defensive play. Max Clare stepping up from his right D position. He's a defenseman that you're going to have to make a little bit better of a move than that in order to walk it around him. Clare's now chasing it down in the offensive zone as his defensive partner, Migliorato, has the puck on his stick alone in his own end. Gets it up ice, though, and maybe some numbers here for McKee. Tries to drop a pass off. Nobody there, though. Only Buff State uniforms in the area. Bengals with a chance to get it out of the zone here, but that pass is intercepted. Migliorato carries it back in across the blue line. McKee cuts towards the slot. Great move there by McKee, keeping possession of it, getting himself around A.J. White, putting it home. It's now a 3-1 lead in favor of the Binghamton Bearcats, and they're going to get a power play out of it as well, as there was a delayed penalty called in that aftermath. It looks like it's going to be Caden Mendick heading to the box. What a great individual effort, though, as that was Thomas McKee showing what he did so many times last year and really just showing that individual effort and the great hands in tight. Beautiful goal there to put Binghamton up in front 3-1.
That's a highlight reel goal. That unbelievable stick handling on his part. Once again, I said it before, A.J. White, there's nothing you can be mad about that. That was just perfectly executed, great goal.
Well, it's a 3-1 lead now, even though it was Buff State taking the early lead here in this game. 3 unanswered now for Binghamton, as now, as mentioned, they have the power play to follow it up with as well. A slashing minor going to Caden Mendick on that play. Probably about as bad as that could have gone. Not only have the goal against, but also the penalty that they're going to have to kill here in the aftermath. Binghamton looking for that knockout blow here in the second period. Binghamton setting it up here in the offensive zone, getting that power play set up. Clare's shot through traffic ends up hitting the stick of Owen Roll and going into the far corner. But Binghamton finding possession. Perfect pass to the doorstep. Maybe just a little bit too much on it. Justin Franks unable to get the shot in on net. Bengals getting that clear. Still a minute 22, though, to kill on the penalty. Behind his own net, this is Sebastian Henderson. Slowly setting up that breakout. Now C-Mac goes cross ice with that pass. Justin Franks into the offensive zone. Circling the net now, looking for a pass in the slot. He had a man there, but it ended up hitting one of the Buff State players in the skate and then was right in front of A.J. White. Throws that catching glove over top of it. Gets a whistle with a minute 4 now remaining in the penalty. 10:49 remaining in the second period.
Yeah, these teams, they've filled each other out now. Binghamton, it looks like they have Buff State's number for now, but Buff State, they're going to rebound. They have the manpower on the ice right now. They got Captain Joe Lotempio, and they're going to look like they're going to prove some offensive zone capabilities.
Looks like Ryan Hahn's trying to pin it to the backboards there as three different Binghamton players try to create a loose puck. Eventually, they do get it free from his skates, and it's Jack Stodorovich carrying it out of the corner. Back to the right point. McKee settles it down and feeds a pass down low. Now has it back on his stick at the right point. Across to O'Brien. Looked like a man lost his balance there, and they just had to slow it down a little bit as McKee has it against the left boards. Cross to McKendry. McKendry walks in, takes a shot, pad save, and the stick of A.J. White getting enough of that one to send it off to the corner. But Binghamton maintaining possession. O'Brien walking in, letting a shot go. Blocker saved by A.J. White. Ryan Hahn trying to find possession in that near corner to get that puck out of the zone. But Binghamton getting possession of it with Cullen.
There was a wide open lane on A.J. White's blocker side recently.
Back to the point as O'Brien tries to settle it down and keep the power play moving. That pass is connected on in the high slot, and a great shot with a lot on it, as letting that one go was McKendry. A.J. White got enough of the glove on that and then fell on that rebound, getting the whistle, and almost all of that penalty has now been killed off. Just 2 seconds remaining on the power play, as just 2 seconds remaining here for this Binghamton unit, as they get a couple of different bodies out there for the remaining 2 seconds of power play time. And then they get their 5 out there that they'll want for when play returns to 5-on-5. Just under the 10-minute mark here as we are a little bit more than halfway through the contest from the SUNY Broome Ice Center. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Nickel City Hockey Network. It's a 3-1 Binghamton lead as the Buff State penalty expires. The Bengals are back to full strength, but it's Binghamton with possession here in the offensive zone. Corey Foster out of the corner, feeds a pass down low. Good defensive play to create a loose puck, but the Bengals unable to find possession of it as it comes to the near boards. Maroxa, and it's the Bearcats setting up more time here in the offensive end. Pass in from behind the goal line, right out in front. That one doesn't find a Binghamton stick, and it's going to be Luke Stotz carrying it through the neutral zone. Gains the red line, dumps it into the offensive end, now chases it down himself, putting some pressure on White back there. Guerrera also in on the play, but the puck ends up coming back across the blue line into the neutral zone. And a penalty being called here on the play. It is the back official signaling a roughing call. And it looks like this is another one going against Buff State. And this is probably the type of penalty that you have to imagine the coaching staff hates to see, because can't afford to be playing this game shorthanded any more than they already have. And they just killed off one penalty, basically only get about a minute of 5-on-5 after it. And then Cole Newman takes a roughing penalty on the far side of the rink. So under 9 minutes to go, and again, it's back on the penalty kill for the Bengals.
Yeah, you can see Cole Newman knows that was a stupid penalty. He's
kill off the first part of this power play, but it's going to be Binghamton finding possession and getting that power play set up right away. Pass comes through the slot, hits a skate, and that doesn't connect with his man as Clares keeps it in at the left point. Clares to Migliorato and then down low. Franks then back to Migliorato at the hash marks. They try to set up a give-and-go play, pass through the crease. Franks unable to find anyone with that, but not enough on it to get out of the zone as Clares keeps it in at the far point. Clares now at the midpoint looking for a lane, doesn't see anything there. Goes to the far side where Franks gets a pass out in front. Shot attempt is blocked on its way through, but it's going to be Binghamton keeping possession with Owen Roll on the far side. Him and C-Mac switch positions as it's quickly right out in front. Shot in on goal. A.J. White making a skate save on that play, and the Bengals are unable to clear it as it's kept in by Clares at the left point. Clares to Migliorato, tries to get it back to his defensive partner, but that pass is out of his reach. Ends up going back into Binghamton territory. First half of the power play has now expired. 58 seconds now remaining on the minor penalty to Newman. Pass is batted out of the air, but still manages to get out into the neutral zone. Dene, though, finding a loose puck and sending it back into the offensive zone. Bengals doing a good job of killing off this middle portion of the power play. Puck comes through the neutral zone with speed. This is Justin Franks. Nice play there defensively by Ryan Hahn, as Franks had a lot of speed going through the neutral zone. If he could have gotten that puck past the Buffalo State defenseman, that would have been a nice opportunity. Binghamton with a little bit of a slow change there, ends up giving Buff State a little bit of a chance to find control of the puck and at least get it out. O'Brien, though, finding it on his own blue line, and Binghamton comes right back towards the offensive end. 15 seconds remaining in the Bearcats' power play, as this is McKee along the near boards. Down low to Todorovic. Todorovic then back out towards the point. McKendry tries to get that shot through. It's a nice little toe drag move to give himself the room for that shot. Shot, though, missing that far post. Last 2 seconds of the penalty ticking away here as the Bengals are back to full strength. Though it's Binghamton keeping possession.
Wow.
Shot coming in from Todorovic as he came out from below the goal line. Looked like it caught A.J. White up high. Not sure if it hit his helmet or just the shoulder area, but a good save nonetheless as Binghamton keeps it going here in the offensive zone.
That caught everybody off guard, even A.J. White.
Seemed to come in a lot faster than anyone was expecting a shot at that point. Good shot block there for the Bengals as they have to get this one up out of the zone. They might actually get the benefit of a penalty here as it looked like a hook there from a Binghamton player. Yeah, that is the last thing that Binghamton needed in that situation. They had pretty much the run of this game for the past half of a period, and then they had the Bengals hemmed in their zone after the end of that power play. They end up taking the offensive zone penalty, so the Bengals with a little bit of a break there get a chance with a power play of their own, as it seems that most of second period play, John, has been 5-on-4 for this game has been when it's 5-on-5. They gave up 2 goals shorthanded, and now it's already up ice for Binghamton as they gain possession right off the faceoff and send it all the way back down to Buff State territory. No real offensive opportunity from that, but we should be keeping an eye on that as things continue. Lotempio setting it up behind his own net and starting the breakout for the Bengals on the far side. Ryan Hahn with the puck in the faceoff circle. Up ice, and now it's Stotz across the red line, getting it into the offensive zone, slowing it down, looking for a cross-ice pass to Gallivan, eventually gets across to him, and now settled down and brought back to the point. Ryan Hahn settling it up, getting that pass across to Guerrera. Guerrera back to Hahn, now across to Gallivan, shot through traffic, blocked on its way through. Its second attempt does eventually get to the goal crease. Joe Lotempio now battling for a loose puck on the far side. Jack Maraxa getting the better of him on that one, sending it the length of the ice. And we have a penalty coming up behind the play, it seems like, as it looks like it's the Buffalo State captain, Joe Lotempio, being signaled for a slashing call. I didn't quite catch what happened there behind the play, but the referee saw something as the play moved back up ice, was quick to signal that slashing call, and for the second game in a row, the Buffalo State captain has surprisingly found his way to the penalty box again.
And I think on both occasions he's been surprised. Just now, then and there, he was talking back to the official. He was unsure of what happened, as were we.
Well, my attention was already back towards the puck, going back towards the Buffalo State end, so I was unable to see exactly what happened behind the play. The call is what the call is, though. 2 minutes for slashing, and so now 4-on-4 for a little bit more than a minute, and then Binghamton's going to have another opportunity with an abbreviated power play.
We said we wanted to see full strength. We're going to get even strength with 4-on-4, but it's not the 5-on-5 we were hoping for.
We'll see who the 4-on-4 tends to favor here in this contest, as Buffalo State's going to be guilty of an icing infraction here about 15 seconds into 4-on-4 play. So another faceoff coming up inside the Buffalo State zone. This one's going to be the blocker hand side of A.J. White, as Binghamton enjoying a 3-1 lead here in this contest. 2 late first period goals, and then the goal here in second period play. That is the difference here in this game. Buffalo State, however, was the team that scored first in this contest, so 3 unanswered in this game for Binghamton. Bengals winning a faceoff there and getting it up ice quickly. Gallivan putting some pressure on the defenseman Clares here in the near corner. Clares getting it away from that pressure, though, and starting the breakout up the far side. That pass eventually gets to its intended target. Now Binghamton in across the blue line, sending it around behind the net where it's picked up by Cole Newman. Newman reverses course and gets it to Ryan Hahn. Now back to Newman here on the near wall. Out into the neutral zone where Gallivan picks it up and gains the blue line. Drops it for Stotz, and then Stotz' shot goes right through the crease, barely missing the left pad of Adam Bloodgood. Migliorato finds a loose puck as the last 5 seconds of the Binghamton penalty tick away. Going to be a 50-second abbreviated power play here now as it's 5-on-4. Cole Newman reading that, getting that one up ice to Nick Crapsey. Doesn't end up becoming an offensive zone opportunity, but it does kill off a little bit of time. Now this is Max Clares carrying it up ice, looking to set up some last power play time here for Binghamton. Zone entry, though, doesn't quite get executed as nicely as Binghamton would have liked to. And the faceoff will come back to the neutral zone, actually just outside of the Binghamton blue line, as there are 39 seconds now remaining in the Binghamton power play, as the offsides infraction has brought play to a stop here, and then the faceoff coming up just to the right of our broadcast position.
Even though Buff State's short-handed, they're playing very well. For a second, I thought they were at full strength the way they were in the offensive zone for so long.
Binghamton finding it in the neutral zone and getting it across the blue line, setting up here in the offensive zone. That shot doesn't get through traffic. Eventually there was a rebound as it came out to Rowell. Looked like he got a shot right in on goal, and A.J. White made that save. Simak now here at the left point, getting that power play set up with 16 seconds left in the man advantage. Shot from distance by O'Brien doesn't get in on goal, and now a good play by Crapsey on the near boards, getting it away from two different Binghamton players and sending that one the length of the ice. Now just 4 seconds remaining on the Buff State penalty. Owen Rowell picking it up and skating it up ice. He's got plenty of room to do so, and he gets it up to Simak. Simak across the blue line, pivots and gets it back to his partner Rowell. Rowell then falls on the play, still finding possession as he gets back to his skates, now in behind the net with possession. Gets it out in front to Simak, but good defense there by the Bengals. 3 different players in close proximity, keeping him from doing too much on that play. Bengals then move it up ice, only as far as the Binghamton blue line though. Now they're trying to execute a change as Binghamton finds possession and moves it up ice. Simak gets just enough of that one to negate any icing on that play, and it's Justin Franks getting possession here in the offensive zone. Caden Mendick taking it off of his stick and looking to start the breakout now. Ryan Hahn to help out a little bit here in the near corner, but he's got 2 different Binghamton players on him. Hager coming in to help out a little bit, but Binghamton breaking that pressure. This is Simak here in the near corner, battling against Ryan Hahn. Another Binghamton player falls into the play as well. Cullen's pass then goes through the crease as Binghamton keeping the pressure on here in the offensive zone. Under 2.5 to go in the second period.
If there's a goal for the third period or to finish off this second period, it's shut down Simak for Buff State.
Yeah, Simak was one of the more dangerous players in this deep offensive attack from Binghamton last year. 20 goals and 20 assists throughout the course of last season. He was probably his best in the Federation Cup, where he had 5 goals and 6 assists in those 6 games. So certainly a player that was looked at last year by this Binghamton team, and also has been showing that he's worth looking at this year again. Buff State might have some numbers here as Cole Newman brings it into the offensive zone. Backhand shot. Looked like it almost snuck through the netminder. The defenseman there to make sure he helped out on the back post. As Bloodgood not being tested a whole lot here in the second period. I think that's only the second shot on goal, but a difficult one to handle there in the backhand. Good opportunity there as Cole Newman carried it in. Almost a 4-on-2. Might have liked to have seen a couple of different passes there to try to set something up, but the Bengals do have to take advantage of any opportunities they have to create shots and to test Bloodgood as much as they can this evening.
Yeah, they got to start winning these offensive zone faceoffs that they get and keeping possession of the puck.
Might set something up here as that shot comes in from Newman. Nice look there by Galvin to give him some room to get that shot off. Stotz then creates a loose puck, tries to drive in towards the slot. Good defense, though, as it was Max Clares getting in the way, making sure that play didn't materialize. Bengals failed to connect on a pass in the neutral zone that allows Binghamton to bring it back in. McKendry in front of the net. Great opportunity there as Grew just couldn't get that redirection past A.J. White. Puck comes out to Migliorato. He leaves his skates to get even taller than he is to glove that one down. That allows Binghamton to keep it here in the zone. Penalty going to be coming up here to Buff State as it comes out in front of the net. Another dangerous moment there as a glorious opportunity from in tight. Saved by A.J. White, and he holds on for another whistle, but it's going to be a hooking penalty coming up as the Bengals again taking another penalty and being forced to play shorthanded here in this contest. It's basically been the theme of the second period. They have been shorthanded for almost half of this frame.
Yeah, and they're not great penalties either. I mean, not saying how that a penalty is good, but most of these penalties have been just selfish penalties.
Maybe I'm not necessarily trying to argue the point. They're kind of lazy penalties. Lazy or
Poor
tired
choice of
penalties.
words.
Lazy
Yeah.
or tired penalties.
Yeah.
But that's maybe something to be expected. But as we've been mentioning throughout the broadcast, Buff State is not at full strength right now. They don't have all of their players that they would want to have in the lineup. For one reason or another, this is not the strongest Buffalo State foot to be putting forward. And maybe we're starting to see some tired legs out there from the players that are in the lineup tonight.
Especially after a 3.5-hour drive coming from Buffalo.
Exactly. And you just get even more tired when the other team scores 3 in quick succession.
Yeah.
That kind of tends to sap some of the energy that's there. 34 seconds remaining here in the second period. 1:20 in power play time for Binghamton as they keep it set up here at the near point with Max Clares. Walking in from that point position, but a good block by Ben Galvin to get in the way of that shot. Now on the far side, it's Christopher Simak. Quickly spins and fires a pass right onto the side of the net. Ends up being pinned to the side of the net there by A.J. White. He hangs on for a whistle now with 17 seconds remaining in the period. Still a minute 9 in the penalty that the Bengals are trying to kill off here. See the 4 out here to kill off the remainder of this penalty. It's going to be Jolo Tempio as well as Jankowski, Pernetta, and Ryan Hahn. 13 seconds now in the period as the Bearcats get it back to the point. Migliorato across to Claire's. One-time shot right in on goal. Good read by A.J. White to get across with the pad on that one. Last 3 seconds of the period as one last clearing attempt goes through the goal crease. That shot's not going to get off in time. Would have missed the net anyway, or did miss the net anyway, so it wouldn't have counted even if it had found the net. So that's how period number 2 will end, in a penalty-filled period at that, as the Buff State Bengals were forced to kill off a number of penalties during the second stanza. They did a good job of it, killing off most of what Binghamton had in terms of man advantage opportunities. Binghamton did manage a goal early on in the period, and now they have a 3-1 lead as we head towards the second intermission.
Yeah, that final Binghamton possession had me worried again. I thought we were going to see a repeat of the first period where Buffalo let not only 1 but 2 goals go by in the final couple minutes. And with that final shot, with 5 seconds to go, I thought that might have been a chance at going in, but luckily A.J. White has been on his A game. Even though the score doesn't reflect that, he's been playing very well.
I'd like to see what shots on goal are in this game so far, because it's probably pretty lopsided in favor of Binghamton. Buff State has relied on their netminder to make the saves, and he's done a very good job here tonight so far. 3 goals against, but none of them really the type that you would have any sort of fault with the goaltender for allowing. Team in front of him is going to have to do a little bit more to pick him up and try to get his Bengals team back here in this contest. Support for Buffalo State College Club Hockey comes from Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. To buy, sell, or lease any office, industrial, retail, or investment property, trust the unparalleled knowledge and experience of Militello Realty. Online, militello.com or 856-2872. Our coverage brought to you by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. Ivy Leaf can cover your immunization needs from flu shots to the newest COVID vaccine, also CBD products, home health care, and all of your other pharmacy needs. Ivy Lee, 2446 Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore, or ivyleepharmacy.com. This broadcast also brought to you by Pool Mart, your family fun store. Whether you're looking for a pool, hot tub, patio furniture, supplies, or more, Pool Mart has 5 locations across Western New York and Northern Pennsylvania to meet your specific need. Visit them online, poolmartonline.com. Support for Buffalo State College Club Hockey also comes from Colvin Cleaners. Dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and all garment services. Colvin Cleaners, the region's premier green earth dry cleaner. And it's also where Buffalo State goes to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. ColvinCleaners.com or visit them on Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore. Our coverage is brought to you by Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. You can find them online, enviousgameware.com. You're watching Buffalo State College Club Hockey on the Nichols City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for amateur hockey. We're going to step away here for the second intermission, but we'll be back with third period play in about 10 minutes.
Bridges have connected people for centuries. When it comes to helping small businesses build bridges with the people they serve, there's a new gold standard. 412 Communications offers a uniquely comprehensive array of media solutions to help your brand establish and maintain strong, lasting connections with your clientele.
To play your best, attitude and mindset are key. The saying, look good, feel good, play good, simply didn't come along by accident, and it's what Envious Gameware does with every team for which they design jerseys. Envious Gameware designs high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and they're the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. Find them online, enviousgameware.com. Buffalo State College Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners. For dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and more, Colvin Cleaners is who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. This is the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for college, high school, and junior hockey. And welcome back to Binghamton. We are at the SUNY Broome Ice Center in Binghamton, New York, as we are getting ready for third period play between the Buffalo State Bengals and the home side Binghamton University Bearcats. After 2 periods of play, it is a 3-1 lead in favor of the home side Binghamton, as the Bearcats looking to get a little bit of revenge for a loss in last year's UNY CHL playoffs. These same Buffalo State Bengals took out Binghamton in the semifinals by a 5-4 count. Binghamton had a 4-1 lead in that game, but Buff State came back to win that one 5-4. So Binghamton trying to exercise those demons here tonight. They have a 3-1 lead after 2 periods of play. Hello, I'm Aaron Elpern. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Nickel City Hockey Network, alongside camera operator / color commentator John Dwyer. Happy to bring you our coverage of tonight's game. Underway here in third period play, and still a little bit of time left on a Binghamton power play. 51 seconds remaining. Actually, the Buff State penalty is not yet ticking away on the clock, as the clock is running, but the penalty time has yet to start ticking away, so they're going to have to get that corrected here, as there seems to be just a little bit of discrepancy, but I believe one of the officials did see it on the ice, and a little bit of a delay still. They did eventually get the penalty going, but there's a little bit of a gap in between when that penalty should have started. It was 51 seconds to start the period, and we're already 45 seconds into the period, so he should be getting out here in just a few moments. As the puck is in the far corner of the offensive zone here for Binghamton, penalty is released as it comes back to the point. Now Todorovic with it, and now we have the whistle coming here, as now we get the confusion with the clock. The player, there are people in the score box that seem to be confused as to why the Buff State player left the box early. I don't think there was full communication within the box about the time up on the board, and rather than have any sort of confusion on the ice, the officials blow the play dead and now get things all sorted away at the scorer's box. I don't really think they needed to blow the play dead. No. They could have just kept playing. Just a little bit of
simple math.
Simple
math,
but yeah.
There was, 41 seconds left?
I think it was 51 seconds to start the period, and then it didn't run for about, they started running it. The Buff State player knew when to come out. Stanishewski, he knew when the penalty was supposed to be released, came out when it was supposed to be over. Then there was confusion as to whether or not he was supposed to be out with time still up on the board. Got it all figured out now, and we're back underway here with the puck here in the offensive zone here for Binghamton. Download a roll, voids one check and gets it to Justin Franks. Another pass connected on there, and that was Simak letting a shot go from the far side, but he missed the net just wide. Passing attempt then through the slot, ends up going all the way back into Binghamton territory. Bloodgood setting it up there, and now it's going to be Max Clares passing that one up ice, but his pass is intercepted. Joe Lotempio finding that one. Can't get too much further than the mid-slot, though, and now it comes to Ben Gallivan in the near corner. Backhand pass out in front, came right to Lotempio. A little bit of a rolling puck, though, unable to keep that one down low enough. And a shot attempt there from the bottom part of the circle by Luke Stotz ends up going off the pad of the goaltender. And now Justin Franks back in the opposite direction. Gets that pass out into the slot, trying to find Simak with it. Just couldn't quite get it to him, and it comes out to the Buff State blue line. Gallivan now into the offensive zone. Rolling puck, takes a shot. It goes off the back glass. Now in behind the net. One-on-one battle for that loose puck. Coming away with it is going to be O'Brien. Sorry, that's Simak with it. 17, not 47. Simak in across the blue line. Makes a move in towards the slot. Good defense as the two Bengals then converged on him. He had a little bit of space that he created, but not enough for the Bengals to not be able to get that one away and on goal.
Yeah, when you said Simak, I was expecting a couple puck handles for that.
He made the first 2 moves, got himself free, but good recovery by the 2 Buff State defensemen. Binghamton, though, keeps it going here in the offensive zone. It comes out to Rowell. He gets a shot in on goal. That was redirected by Simak right in front of A.J. White. Good tracking of that shot, as it didn't change directions too much. Maybe a little went from ice level to the midsection level, but A.J. White making the stop, then covering up the rebound, keeping this one a 3-1 game. Bengals now getting some fresh personnel out there for this face-off in their defensive zone.
I expect the Bengals to rally around their netminder, A.J. White, and he's been playing just unbelievably today. So expect more defense to come from Buff State and a little more offense.
Binghamton again winning a faceoff and setting up some zone time. Part of what they've done so well here tonight is winning faceoffs and allowing them to get that puck set up in the offensive zone when they have those offensive zone draws. Wow. Big hit there on the far side as Guerrera knocks his man over, and for some reason this is being called a penalty. I can't understand this call at all, because that is about as textbook a body check as you can find, and it's the official here on the far side that calls the roughing penalty. And looking at the replay there, it appears that the call is being made because it was that good of a hit.
Yeah.
This is
all shoulder.
Yeah, this is something that USA Hockey started working on last year. And anytime we saw a hit that was that violent, it was almost automatically called a penalty, no matter how clean it was. Mm-hmm. If it's a shoulder-to-shoulder check, it is the violence of the penalty that's being called. And I think that's what the call that was made there, as it is a roughing penalty against Guerrera. That could have been an offensive zone opportunity, too, because that would have been numbers for the Bengals there that created a loose puck and an odd man rush opportunity, but the penalty ends up negating it. Almost a chance in front as that pass came across to Cullen. Just couldn't quite get the stick on that one for that backdoor opportunity. Bengals get the clear and send it the length of the ice. 30 seconds gone here in this penalty.
Yeah, so far this season the Bengals have gotten a few unfortunate calls, and after this one today, I expect there will be a little more physical play from the Bengals.
Unfortunate calls are unfortunately a part of the game, and
great butterfly.
They tend to go in both directions, and see how the Bengals will react to this most recent one. As settling down and doing a decent job here with this penalty kill. They've gotten a couple of clears already. A.J. White doing a good job of getting the catching glove on top of that one, keeping play from moving too quickly in the offensive zone, getting that stoppage, and allowing his penalty killers a little bit of a rest before this faceoff. Minute 14 now remains in the power play for Binghamton. Another cleanly won faceoff. Back to Max Clares at the right point. Drop pass to Simak. His shot through traffic bounces right before A.J. White, but he makes the pad save. Binghamton, though, keeps it going now. To the near wall. This is Clares with it, getting it back to the point. Simak then gives it back to Clares, but he fans on that shot attempt. And Cole Newman finding control of that one, sending it the length of the ice. Now 47 seconds remaining on the Buff State penalty. Banked off the back of the net by the Binghamton player Simak there as he carries it out towards his blue line. Cross ice pass. That one doesn't connect. This should be icing on this play, and it is. And this one will come all the way back down into Bingham territory. A little bit of a sloppy pass there. A little bit behind its intended target, and from the Binghamton side of the red line, that's going to result in an icing. So the Bengals will get to enjoy an offensive zone draw here with 33 seconds now remaining on their penalty.
Yeah, I'd like to see it from the Buff State Bengals. They've been putting pressure even when they're on the shorthanded side, but hopefully at full strength they can, prove to capitalize on that.
Still 27 seconds left to kill here in this penalty as Justin Franks carries the puck through the neutral zone and across the Buff State blue line. Then a one-handed attempt. And again, we're seeing a penalty called here on this one, and it looks like it's the violence of the hit that's resulting in the call yet again. Have to take a look here at the replay on this one, but that again looked like a clean hit where Ryan Hahn got underneath the Binghamton player. Maybe had a little bit of a grab on the shoulder now that I get a second look at that one. So this one is going to be a penalty. Is it going to be a penalty against Buff State? Because I haven't seen Hahn go to the box yet. Finally he does.
Okay.
So eventually the penalty is enforced. Ryan Hahn heading to the penalty box. 2 minutes for roughing is that call. So 19 seconds of 5-on-3 coming up here for Binghamton to enjoy. And Buff State's going to, this would be one of those faceoffs that they really could use a win on. Scrambled and then one back to the point. McKendry sets it up for Binghamton. 14 seconds now remaining on the two-man advantage.
Man.
Puck comes across
Wide
to Cullen,
open.
and he shovels the backhand in the back of the net. It's 4-1 Binghamton almost immediately with the 5-on-3, 8 seconds into the two-man advantage. They now have a 3-goal lead here in this contest.
Good on Binghamton for taking advantage of these open opportunities. Saw a wide lane open, glove side, and they just take full advantage of the sloppy defensive rebounds that should be cleared out.
Yeah, tough to clear them out of there when there are only 3 players on the ice. It's the Buff State penalties that are causing them difficulty. Not being able to play 5-on-5 has been the main difficulty in this game. 3 of the Binghamton goals have come not 5-on-5. Though that looked like it was offsides. That was a late whistle from the referee here. The linesman waved it off, and then the referee deep in the zone made the offsides call. Now they're having a conversation about it. The Buff State bench was irate that offsides wasn't called immediately.
Yeah.
The linesman along the blue line waved it off, and then he got basically trumped by the referee, who was much closer to the goal line than the blue line. Not sure he liked having the referee overrule his call there, but that is what the call is. The neutral zone faceoff ends up being taken away by a Binghamton player, and they get it across the blue line. Now look to set up that offensive zone time here on the power play. Down below the goal line, carrying it out in front. McKee gets that pass across to Cullen.
Good
shot
save
from the dot there. Yeah, A.J. White in really good position to make that stop. Positional save that time as it hits him in the shoulder. Falls in front of him, and he hangs on for another stoppage. Minute 27 in this new power play now for Binghamton. Scrambled face-off, and it comes out to the point. Now Gallivan might have a step on the defender. Gallivan into the offensive zone 1-on-4. Tries to go around the one Binghamton player. Good defense, though, to keep that from materializing. But now Luke Stotz creating a loose puck in the neutral zone for the Bengals. These two out there killing off this penalty. Stotz and Gallivan, good job of creating loose pucks. McHenry gets it back in across the blue line, and now O'Brien sets it up at the left point. His shot through a crowd goes off the stick of A.J. White, then into the far corner where it's picked up by Todorovic. His pass back to the point ends up bouncing over a stick, and McKee has to go back to center ice for it. McKee, though, carrying it in towards the slot, takes a little bit of a bump, maintains possession, gets that pass out in front. Eventually back to McHenry. Great save by A.J. White. The rebound, though, comes right to McKee, and he makes no mistake on that one. He has a lot of net to fire it into, and it's now a 5-1 lead as another power play goal for Binghamton has given them a 4-goal lead now.
Yeah, I really feel for A.J. White right now. I'd love to see the shots against him. And, yeah, the score is 5-1, but he has made many remarkable saves tonight. And just don't put your head down, A.J. White. Keep playing your game, and hopefully they can come back to 5-on-5 full strength as they are now. But that's the issue today.
In that sequence, A.J. White was called on to make a number of saves. He made at least 2 right in the moments preceding the goal. The one rebound just coming off a cross straight out to McKee on the far side. Just no opportunity to get across to make that save. The only hope there is that somehow McKee fans on the shot. Didn't happen, obviously, and now it's a 5-1 game. Binghamton looking to add to it. Loose puck, the Binghamton player hacking at that loose puck, and the goaltender and now having a little conversation with Ryan Hahn. As Bengals never like to see players in that doorstep hacking away at their goaltender. That was Stappenbeck who was looking for that loose puck. Nothing really coming out of that exchange of pleasantries at the doorstep, and we'll have a face-off here at the near circle in the Bengals defensive zone with 13:31 to go in the period. Face-off again won by Binghamton. That shot coming in from distance, right in on goal by LaChance. Good save by White. Pass is intercepted there on the far side as Stanishewski moves it up ice. Caden Mendick with the puck across the blue line. That looked like it could have been offsides as well, but no call as Guerrera finds control of it. Now Mendick carries it out in front, and Guerrera shovels home a rebound to give the Bengals their second goal. Nice opportunity created in front of the net there. A quick bang-bang play, and it's Michael Guerrera putting it home for his second one of the night. It's a 5-2 lead now for Binghamton.
That gives the Bengals that much-needed momentum they need. They got 13-12 to work with, 3 goals behind. I have a feeling they can make something of it. Yes, there's 13 minutes, but, hey, a lot can happen in a few seconds.
Can't get all 4 back at once, but chip away little by little. And again, as we keep on talking about, the key for these last 13 minutes, the only way to come back is to stay 5-on-5 or get power plays if that is possibility. But definitely playing shorthanded is going to make that comeback all the much more difficult. Puck on the far side, kept in by Ryan Hahn. Bengals playing with just a touch more life here after getting that second goal. Puck ends up getting deflected into the Binghamton bench, so we'll have a stoppage and play with 12:50 to go in the third. 5-2 is the Binghamton lead. Faceoff will be right in front of the Binghamton bench. Luke Stotz on for the draw against Jax Todorovic. Faceoff comes right to that far wing. Now a loose puck in the neutral zone is picked up by Cullen. He moves it up ice. Now Ryan Hahn finding possession just inside his own blue line. Hahn works it behind the net. Stanishewski now looking to get it up ice. He does float it off the glass. Bengals with some numbers. Gallivan carrying it in. Gallivan makes a move, but a great defensive play as leaving his feet to get a piece of that one was Bryce Wallace. Great defense to get the stick on that play. It was a 3-on-1. He took a little bit of a risk to make that play, but perfectly executed to break up that play. Great defense by Bryce Wallace.
If he left his feet any earlier or later, that would have been a perfect give-and-go play for Bengals.
Just that perfect timing. Great defense to break up that play, but the Bengals again looking to counter here in the neutral zone. Good play to, again, play that little bit of defense in the center ice area to keep that Bengals rush from materializing. They get it up ice again, now right in on A.J. White. Sets it up for Cole Newman. They try to get the pass out of the zone, but it's right on a Binghamton stick, and it's Simak letting a hard wrist shot go.
Man, those hands.
Ooh. Let a good hard one go, but he couldn't quite get it in on net. And now Stotz looks to carry it up ice. He gets it to Guerrera. Guerrera up to center ice, but Gallivan can't handle that pass in his skates, and Binghamton finds possession. Claire is floating it back into the offensive zone.
Simak is one of those players that can stick handle in a phone booth. He is so quick with it. It's impressive. That's all I can say.
And the problem with a player like him on this roster is he's not the only one that you have to pay attention to.
Exactly.
He has that kind of game-breaking ability that a defender has to be aware of, but when there are 4 other players on the ice that all have similar abilities, you can't just focus in on that one great player, and that's what makes the Binghamton depth such an asset for them. Loose puck out by the side of the Binghamton net. Let's see who can come out of there with possession. The Bengals do, right out in front of Cole Newman, but a huge save by Adam Bloodgood. That's been his best one of the evening, as that was a point-blank opportunity for the Bengals.
How about Ryan Dene on the blue line? He saved a 3-on-1 breakaway, just putting his stick out there. Great on him.
It's going to be moved ahead by Simak, however, as he carries it in towards the offensive zone. Got himself free and let a shot go. High and wide, however, as it might have rolled on him just a little bit. Bengals now countering, moving it up ice. Joe Lotempio unable to gather in that pass, and it's sent right back into Buff State territory. As we are now under 11 minutes to play in regulation. Ryan Dene carrying it up the right wing. Connects on a pass with Captain Joe Lotempio, but that one's behind its intended target. Dene now putting some pressure on his defensive counterpart just inside the Binghamton blue line. Bearcats getting the better of that exchange, getting it into center ice, but Cole Newman sends it right back in. Bengals making some changes here as we have 10:27 to go in regulation. Puck sent back into Buffalo State territory, too far for McKendry in the neutral zone. Icing is called on the play as the linesmen and referees ruled that Cole Newman didn't really have a play on that puck. So the faceoff now, an offensive zone draw going to be coming up with 10:22 remaining in the third.
As of now, these guys have a breath of fresh air. They've got that strong momentum. They look like they have life. They had that close chance just recently, and they're looking to play the blue line and score some goals.
Next goal is absolutely key here for Buffalo State. Probably the only chance to come back here in this game is to get the next one. Could be an opportunity for Binghamton, however, as this is Foster along the goal line. Nice look out in front to McKee, but good defense making sure he didn't have a whole lot of room to work. Eventually it does come out in front. Hugh White with a good hard snapshot, missing the net just barely wide as he had a nice look from the mid-slot. Binghamton keeping the pressure on here in the offensive zone. Chase for a loose puck is won by McKee. His pass, though, gets deflected, and that allows Gallivan to carry it out of the zone. Gallivan dumping it in on goal from the neutral zone. Bloodgood making the initial save. Falls on the rebound as a couple of Bengals players are in the neighborhood. Face-off coming up to Bloodgood's left now with 9:48 to go in third period play. And our coverage of Buffalo State College Club hockey is sponsored by Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. Visit them online at militello.com. Bengals winning control after the faceoff, and Janikowski has it behind the net. He gets a backhand pass out in front, but nobody is there. Ryan Hahn then at the near point, doing a good job to make sure it stays in the zone, but Binghamton finding possession and sending out to center ice. McKendry and Hahn trying to battle for possession up against the near wall here. Two Bengals come in to join the fray as well. Another Binghamton player. Eventually Buff State moves it up ice. And now Binghamton getting it back across their own blue line, but Buff State again sending it right back in. Now trying to set up some forecheck pressure as it's going to be Gallivan and Crapsey watching the Binghamton defender trying to break it out. Binghamton doing a good job of breaking that light pressure from Buff State. Bearcats get it in across the Buff State blue line. Now under 9 to go in regulation. Bengals a little bit quick to just make sure that puck gets out of the zone there on the far side, as Crapsey had a little bit too much on it as he played it into the neutral zone. Ends up going for icing, so it will come all the way back into Buffalo State territory as we have 8:51 to go in regulation. It's a 5-2 lead in favor of Binghamton. Buff State has the last goal in this game, but Binghamton has done a good job of taking control of the middle portion of this game. It was two late first period goals that gave them the lead. They were down 1-0 in this game early. With those two late first period goals, gave them an advantage that they haven't relinquished since. They've stretched that lead to 5-1, now 5-2, as Nick Crapsey gets a shot in on goal. Bloodgood making a good save, allowing that puck to hit him in the chest. Pins it to his midsection and forces a stoppage. 8:42 now remains here in the third, as the Bengals are going to get an offensive zone draw, and Captain Joe Lotempio on for this faceoff. And that draw is won by Binghamton, and they look to break it out here on the near boards. Not much going on in that first attempt, and now O'Brien comes back towards these near boards to try to get it out. Gets it up to Hamlet. Now pass is connected on in the neutral zone. This is going to be a nice opportunity in front, as it was LaChance trying to connect on a pass in front of the net. He had a streaking winger going right towards the net front. Just couldn't quite connect on that one. Puck is kept in, and then two passes from in close, and eventually it's put home by Stappenbeck, and it's now a 6-2 lead, as that looks like it's going to be Stappenbeck's first goal for the Binghamton Bearcats. You see the captain, Jack O'Brien, heading out into center ice to retrieve that puck. That looks like it's going to be a souvenir to hold on to for number 66, Jack Stappenbeck. And it's the 6th goal on the board for the Binghamton Bearcats. And now a pretty comfortable 4-goal margin here in this game, as that next goal we were talking about goes the way of the Binghamton Bearcats.
That's a perfect setup, give and go, open blocker side lane, and he executed perfectly for Binghamton.
And a nice goal to remember, too. Not one of the sloppy ones that hits a body in front or ends up going in off an arm, or maybe one of the other team puts it in the net for you. That's one that he'll be able to proudly remember as his first goal as a Binghamton Bearcat. His teammates looking to add to that lead here. Scramble for a loose puck in front of the net. Ends up being shot just wide, but Binghamton finding possession again. Scramble for a loose puck on that far wall. Good strength there from Michael Guerrero to get that puck away from the Binghamton player. Pass doesn't connect, though, in the neutral zone, and now Ryan Hahn picks it up at his blue line.
Unless Buff State scores in this next minute, I think that goal will be the final blow to them. They really need to find something here.
7:27 remaining here in regulation. As John said, probably going to need a goal here in the next few moments if there's going to be any hope of coming back here in this one for Buffalo State. Have to play a little bit of defense here in their own end, as Todorovic has control of it in the far corner. Knocks a man off of him and maintains possession, then gets it back to the point. Comes back to Sutter. He chops a shot towards the net. A.J. White is a little bit out of position now as he's down on his back. Bengals get the benefit of a glove pass, though, from Binghamton, as the Binghamton player arguing that call here in the near corner. Referee not hearing really any of that one, as the faceoff's going to come out into the neutral zone. Bengals with dodging a little bit of a bullet right there, as there looked like there was going to be an opportunity from the doorstep there for Binghamton. The hand pass, though, is called, and now the faceoff will come back just outside the Binghamton blue line, as we have just a little bit more than 7 minutes remaining here in third period play.
Yeah, Captain Jack O'Brien was right when I was talking to him. He said all 4 lines can skate and play with any team, and they've got depth within this Binghamton team.
And I think you're seeing that there with that last goal scorer, Stappenbeck. That's probably the trio that has seen the least action out here tonight. But they've created opportunities when they've been out there. There was another one, a hard wrist shot taken, just hit the crossbar, it looked like, and ended up ringing out towards the near corner. So Binghamton certainly not letting their foot off the gas here, despite the 4-goal lead, despite the fact that they seem to have this Buff State team on the ropes.
I think this is where that vindication Jack O'Brien said. They want that revenge, and they're not going to have any mercy for it from last year.
Yeah, this was something we talked about off the open here in the pregame show and a couple times during the broadcast. Binghamton wants revenge for that loss last year in the UNYCHL playoffs. It was Buff State that knocked them out in the semifinals, and they seem well on their way towards getting that revenge. They're going to get another power play coming up here, as there looks like another penalty coming up to, again, number 28, Joe Lotempio, the Bengals captain, as he took a player down in the slot. Could be an opportunity there, and that goal is going to be waved off as it was played with a gloved hand. I'm not sure if it was gloved into the net or gloved from one Binghamton player to another one and then put in the net. So no goal is the call on the puck being put home, but there is a power play that's going to be coming up for Binghamton with just a shade more than 6 minutes to go in regulation. They have a chance to really put the exclamation point here on this one. They have a comfortable 4-goal lead, and they have an opportunity to just add to those numbers here with the man advantage.
Yeah, there was no retaliation for that one from Binghamton. The linesman immediately waved that off, and they knew that wasn't a goal.
Appears to be a little bit of a conversation now between the one referee and the Bengals bench. Also over there is Jack O'Brien for a conversation maybe about the gloved pass and exactly what the call was on that. Obviously, as you mentioned, John, not a whole lot of argument about that call. I don't think you're going to be too upset about getting one waved off with a 4-goal lead and 6 minutes to go, but you're going to make at least that little bit of an argument. So the power play now going here for Binghamton. Good defensive play as Cole Newman creates a loose puck and sends it the length of the ice, all the way back toward Adam Bloodgood. Picked up by O'Brien just before it gets to him, though, and he sets it up behind his own net with 1:40 to go in the power play. Cullen has a little bit of difficulty in the neutral zone, but eventually finds possession. That looked like it could have been called offsides, but it was not. Todorovic has it behind the net now as he finds possession and settles it down, then gets it to McKee. McKee with that cross-ice look, couldn't get it across to McKendry, and now the Bengals are going to get it up ice as Cole Newman carries it with some speed. Newman takes a hit there from O'Brien on the play as the fans react to the physical contact here in this game. Hasn't been a whole lot of hitting in this one so far, but the fans that are here in attendance at the SUNY Broome Ice Center certainly like to see a little bit of that physical play. Shot comes from McKendry in the top of the circle. Glove save made by A.J. White on a shot that might have missed the net wide. Hangs on for a whistle nonetheless. 1:03 to go in the Binghamton power play. Still a 6-2 lead in favor of the Bearcats.
Yeah, some may think this is a physical game, but the way this Bengals roster has been playing this season, it's a walk in the park. It's been a light, physically played game, and now they just, with 5 minutes to go, they just want to shut it down.
Yeah, I think this would be a game that Buff State would probably, with a more full lineup, would try to play at a more physical level. But when you're short on bodies and you have guys being double shifted, that's maybe when the physical play ends up wearing you down on your own a little bit too much. So maybe kind of smart to back off the gas pedal on that in this game. Still a tough Binghamton opponent, though, and a 4-goal deficit has been the result. Binghamton power play now continues as that shot comes from the point. Like it hit an arm on its way through, almost sat there in a dangerous spot for Binghamton. Yeah. Simak letting a shot go from the lower part of the circle. A.J. White making the save on that one, but the power play continues. Simak here in the near circle tries to feed that one in front, trying to get that one to roll, but it doesn't get to him. Eventually now battle for a loose puck on the far side as Ryan Hahn knocks a man down. Comes back to the point to roll. Backhand pass to Clares. Backhand, oh my, that was pretty. 2 backdoor passes in a row. One side to the other and then back in front, and a pretty goal right at the end of the power play. And the unfortunate part about it, though, is it appears that Binghamton's going to get a penalty in the aftermath for unsportsmanlike conduct. Really wasn't necessary for the little bit of taunting there at the end.
No. When you're up now 6-2, there's no room for that.
To make it a 5-goal lead.
Sorry, 7-2 now.
Yeah, it was a nice goal. Good celebration, maybe a little bit over the top, and now Buff State's going to get a power play out of it, but at this point it might not make much of a difference as it's a 7-2 lead now in favor of Binghamton.
Yeah, but earlier I was just going to say how they dotted those I's and crossed those T's. That was a perfectly set up play, almost better than the earlier one we saw earlier with the fourth line. But especially on the power play and the penalty kill for the Bengals, they need to do a better job clearing that puck. I see them fanning on the clear too many times.
Well, it's a 7-2 lead now as we're under 4 minutes to play in regulation. Luke Stotz driving it into the offensive zone from Buff State, but unable to get much further past the mid-slot area as he let a backhand go. Binghamton finding possession, sending it all the way back into Buffalo State territory. As mentioned, Buffalo State does have a power play after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty to Justin Franks. And Dene carries it into the offensive zone, takes a big hit there down low in the offensive zone. The referee seemed to look back at the other official before finally putting his arm up. If the call down here was an obvious penalty against Buffalo State, I'm not sure why there was a delay for this call against Binghamton as we see a violent hit there up high as Maroxa laid that hit against Ryan Dene up against the boards in the offensive zone. Really hate to see that kind of hit late in a game that's already been decided as Ryan Dene is slow to get back to his feet in the Binghamton zone.
That's a brutal hit. I really hope he's all right.
I'm not sure why there was a delay in calling it
either.
The referee was 10 feet away, and his instinct wasn't to put his arm up. It was to look at the other official for guidance. that makes me shake my head here, because that was an obvious penalty call from 200 feet away where we're standing. He's 10 feet away and was slow to make the call. Eventually he did, though, and I'm interested to see exactly what the penalty call is going to be here on this one. That one could be a major. Yeah, he's being tossed.
Mm-hmm. He's out.
Yeah, you saw the referee signal the one-hand finger gesture towards the locker room, and number 9, Jack Maraxa, is heading towards the locker room here. That's going to be a 5-minute major, I believe. So it's going to be a 2-man advantage here when we eventually get restarted. Ryan Dene being helped out by the trainers here, still in the Binghamton zone. Good to see him skating off under his own power. It was a hit that could have been delivered without it being that violent.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with 3:22 left and a lead like this, you don't need to kill the man.
He had the leverage on him in the situation. He could have just drove him into the boards and finished the check strongly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he used that leverage to try to tip the opponent over and making it that much more of a violent-looking hit. Wasn't necessarily surprised that the call ends up being the 5-minute major. The only surprise in that whole thing is why there was a delay in calling it initially.
I'm glad to see Ryan Dene walking and talking on his own. Because it could be scary like that, right into the boards that hard.
Yeah, that's the last thing you need to see in a game that has already gotten away from this Buff State team. A start of the season that has certainly not gone as planned. The last thing they need now is to add more injuries to what they've already had to deal with this early on this season. So
what's going on the bench?
Nobody is in the penalty box serving this penalty as of yet. I don't think they necessarily – I guess they do need somebody to serve it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the most recent goal scorer, Jack Stappenbeck. Number 66 heading to the box. So we are now underway here. It's a 5-on-3 as mentioned now for the next minute 10 here for Buff State. One last opportunity to get back into this game. Hard shot taken there from Guerrera in distance. A rebound off the backboards comes out to Galvin, but his shot just missed the net wide. And Binghamton gets the clear out to center ice. Binghamton now setting up along their blue line as Buff State drives it back into the offensive zone. Ryan Hahn circles it around behind the net as Galvin tries to find possession there against O'Brien. Back to the point to Guerrera. His shot deflected late. Stotz got a lot on that one, but ended up deflecting it up and out of play. So 44 seconds now remaining in the 5-on-3. The faceoff will be coming up in the near faceoff dot of the Binghamton zone.
Being 5-on-3, you want to leave this game on a good note and advantage right now.
Binghamton, though, winning that faceoff. They get it cleared to the point. Ryan Hahn keeping it in at the point with a skate, but it ends up going off the skate then into the Binghamton bench. So the faceoff will come just outside of the blue line in neutral ice, right in front of Binghamton's bench. 4:17 to go in the major penalty, 37 seconds remaining in the 5-on-3. Guerrera carries it in across the blue line, stops just inside the blue line and looks to set things up. Gets it down low. Now there's a 2-on-1 battle for a loose puck. One Binghamton player there. A second one now joins the battle as eventually the Binghamton player beats out the two different Buff State players, creates that loose puck, sends it the length of the ice. Now just 15 seconds remaining in the first penalty. Ryan Hahn carries it out of his own zone in the last 7 seconds of the original Binghamton penalty. Hahn along the goal line looking for a pass on his backhand. Now gets it to Guerrera as it's now 5-on-4. Cross ice to Stotz. Stotz then tries to get a shot through. That one's blocked and all the way back out into the neutral zone. Ryan Hahn chasing it down there. Up ice to Stotz again. Stotz then moving it up ice quickly as he tries to get it to Crapsey. Crapsey then carrying it in. Nice shot block there as Migliorato left his feet. Made sure he got the shin pads on that one and kept that shot from getting in on his goaltender.
Once again, perfect timing on that defensive play.
That's 2 or 3 times tonight that a Binghamton defender has left his feet absolutely perfectly and textbook blocks either on passes or in that case on the shot attempt. Nice pass there from the Bengals as it was Stotz on that far circle, accepting that look there from Michael Guerrera. Shot right in on Bloodgood, but another save by the Binghamton netminder keeps this one a 7-2 lead. Minute 23 now left in regulation. Bengals getting some changes made here as we have just a minute and 20 plus to go here in the regulation period. as the Bengals still enjoying this power play, as that major penalty is going to continue right throughout the end of regulation here in this game. Setting it up here in the neutral zone is Cole Newman. He dumps it right back into the offensive zone, looking for the Bengals to get a chance to set up that power play again, but Binghamton finding control of it, sending it the length of the ice. Now 1:05 left in regulation.
Yeah, looking at both benches, Buff State and Binghamton, these guys for Buff State, they have to be gassed. They don't have a lot of guys. They're making a lot of shifts, and the difference in size of rosters right now, the Bengals are going to be tired.
And starting to see some tired decisions out there on the ice as well, as that attempt to move it up ice ends up resulting in an icing while on the power play. So the Buff State team will have to come back into their own end and defend a little bit here with 52.2 seconds now remaining here in the third period. As this one seems to be well in hand for Binghamton. Looks like they're going to get their revenge from last year's playoff loss to this Buffalo State team. It was a 5-4 loss in the UNY CHL semifinals last year, and they've gotten a little bit of revenge for that coming in here and winning their second game of the season, a resounding 7-2 lead right now. We'll see whether or not that is the final score here of this contest, but it is going to be the Binghamton Bearcats finding some revenge for last year's loss at the hands of Buff State. Cole Newman with a hard wrist shot as he carries it in across the blue line. Bloodgood making another good stop on that one. Hasn't been asked to make a whole lot of saves here today, but 4 or 5 really sharp saves here in the middle of this contest. Exactly what his team needed to maintain their lead. And then they've done a good job in the offensive end of growing that lead on their own. And they're going to come out of here with a 7-2 victory on home ice. Part of a 2-game weekend now for the Binghamton Bearcats. Tomorrow is a big divisional matchup as they have the Cortland Red Dragons coming in here tomorrow afternoon. It is a big UNY CHL Central Division game. Those two teams split their 2 matchups last season. The second of those games was a Cortland overtime win over Binghamton, so maybe they've got the full revenge weekend plan here for Buff State. They got the first part of that here tonight with the 7-2 win over the Bengals. Tomorrow they have their eyes set on getting some revenge against Cortland and trying to give them an early edge in the Central Division of the UNY CHL.
Yeah, the Bengals, they're going to have a full roster tomorrow. They'll be rested up, hopefully, and they got a big test tomorrow against Niagara at home. So maybe Buff State will finish out on top, but the way A.J. White played today, I have a feeling they will. He played incredible game by him, but the score reflects he didn't, but the amount of lopsided shots towards Binghamton against Buff State, you think he wouldn't, but great game by A.J. White.
Yeah, A.J. White kept his team in this game from the early going. That first period was basically the A.J. White show for the first, I would say, 18 minutes of that period. He made 7 or 8 10-bell saves during that first frame. Ended up giving his team the opportunity to take the lead. Michael Guerrera scoring that game's first goal. They had an advantage, but it was a power play of Buff State's that ended up going in the negative direction at the end of the first period. 2 shorthanded goals from Binghamton late in the first period. They had the edge when they went to the locker room. They added to it early on in the third period, and then from there it was a comfortable margin, and they just grew the lead from that point. Ends up being a 7-2 final in favor of Binghamton, and they move to 2-0 on the season. They will be in action tomorrow against Cortland, as mentioned.
I have a feeling earlier in this game in the first period, if they didn't get that power play, and I know some people might find it hard to believe you want a power play late in the first period, but that's where they lost it. They let the Bearcats score 2 goals late in the first, and if they came into that first intermission up 1-0, I think we might have seen a very different game.
Yeah, we talked about it during that first period where we were talking about strategy, and the Bengals' strategy for this game was we're a little bit undermanned. We don't have our full-powered roster here, and we're facing a very dangerous opponent. Sag back, play defense, take care of the defensive zone first, think defensively throughout the game, and they did a great job of that throughout that first period. And it was the moment where they were given the man advantage that maybe they let up that focus on their defensive end.
They figured,
and it was bang, bang, 2 goals in their own net.
We're on offense now. We don't have to focus as much on defense, but that's that final score of 7-2 in favor of Binghamton. A lot of that is right there at what happened there at the very end of the first period.
Binghamton doing a good job taking advantage of maybe some mistakes on the Buffalo State part, but that's what you get here with a talented team like those Binghamton Bearcats. We talked about the depth of their scoring power up front, all four lines that can skate and create opportunities. They were essentially just given too many opportunities here in this game, and when you're short bodies and you don't have quite your best foot to put forward in a game like this, you need almost everything to go right for your team. It did for a little while, but it didn't hold out throughout the contest for Buff State.
Couldn't agree more.
Not a bad effort, though. At a point in the season where you're kind of concerned about where things are going from the Buff State perspective, this wasn't the worst effort that you could possibly expect. This was, on paper, this could have been the disastrous type of game that you don't want to see. They put up a good fight throughout, early on especially. Didn't turn their way, ends up being a 7-2 Binghamton final, but not necessarily a bunch of negative feelings heading back to Buffalo and another opportunity in a divisional game tomorrow against Niagara.
And you don't want to slump, but if you want one at all, you want it in the beginning of the season. They got a lot of games to play. They got a lot of rebound games, and hopefully Buffalo will come out on top in the end of the season.
Taking a look at some other scores from across the UNY CHL, it is the University at Buffalo coming out with an 8-2 win over Brockport. Alfred State was down 2-1 after one period of play, but they scored the next 8 goals in that game. They win 9-2. In progress score a 5-3 Niagara lead over St. John Fisher. Last check, Babson was up 4-1 against St. Joseph College of Maine. Looking at some other scores from across the CHF. Saw a score there from Ramapo and Quinnipiac. Don't have it quite updated on our screen right now, but that is a 3-2 lead in favor of Ramapo, a couple of teams that went deep in the national tournament last year. So keeping an eye on some scores from across the nation and across the UNY CHL. And our UNY CHL scoreboard is brought to you by Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. To buy, sell, or lease any office, industrial, retail, or investment property, trust the unparalleled knowledge and experience of Militello Realty online at militello.com. Our coverage also brought to you by Ivy Lee Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. Ivy Lee can cover your immunization needs from flu shots to the newest COVID-19 vaccine, also CBD products, home health care, and all of your other pharmacy needs. Ivy Lee Pharmacy, 2446 Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore, or online ivyleepharmacy.com. This broadcast also brought to you by Pool Mart, your family fun store. Whether you're looking for a pool, hot tub, patio furniture, supplies, or more, Pool Mart has 5 area locations to meet your specific need. Find them online at poolmartonline.com. Our supporters also include Colvin Cleaners, dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and all garment services. Colvin Cleaners, the region's premier green earth dry cleaner, and it's also where Buffalo State College Club Hockey goes to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. ColvinCleaners.com or visit them on Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore. Our broadcast has also been brought to you by Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of the Buffalo State College Club Hockey team. You can find them online, enviousgameware.com, and by 412 Communications, the new gold standard for digital media solutions for small businesses. 412 Communications offers consultation for web and graphic design, social media, writing and editing services, multimedia solutions, and more. Visit 412communications.com to learn how they can help your brand build bridges with the people you serve. As the Zamboni resurfaces the ice here at the SUNY Broome Ice Center, we're going to wrap up our broadcast and appreciate you joining us here on the Nickel City Hockey Network. For color commentator and camera operator John Dwyer, my name is Aaron Elpern. Thank you for joining us tonight, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.